Why? Because suffering exposes truth. When ordinary Iranians see neighbors arrested for peaceful belief, questions arise. When they see kindness punished and fear rewarded, doubt grows. People begin to ask why a religion that claims truth must rely on force to survive. Families of converts often struggle deeply. At first, many react with anger or shame. They fear social consequences. They fear government attention. Some cut off contact. Others report their own relatives out of fear, but over time, reactions sometimes change. Parents notice that their children are calmer. Wives notice their husbands are less angry. Families see real change. Even if they do not accept Christianity, they recognize sincerity. This quiet shift matters. It shows that faith is not spreading through argument, but through visible transformation. Another powerful force behind this movement is media. Despite heavy censorship, Iranians find ways to access outside content. Satellite channels, online videos, and radio broadcasts reach deep into the country. Many of these programs share Christian teachings in simple language. They speak about love, patience, and forgiveness. For people used to sermons filled with threats and rules, this tone feels different. It feels personal. Many listeners say they cried the first time they heard these messages. Not because they were convinced, but because they felt understood. Dreams also play a surprising role. Many converts describe having vivid dreams of Jesus. These dreams often come during moments of deep despair. People describe feeling called, comforted, or guided. These experiences are deeply personal and difficult to dismiss. In Iranian culture, dreams carry meaning. When many people share similar experiences, curiosity grows. Stories are whispered. Questions are asked. Faith spreads quietly. This movement is not limited to one social group. Educated professionals, students, workers, and rural villagers are all part of it. What they share is dissatisfaction with a system that promised meaning but delivered fear. Young people are especially drawn to this faith. Many grew up watching restrictions tighten year after year. They see little chance for change through politics. Faith becomes another way to seek truth and freedom. Women also play a key role. Many Iranian women feel suffocated by laws controlling dress, behavior, and speech. Christianity's message of worth and dignity speaks strongly to them. Some say it is the first time they felt seen as individuals, not symbols. Despite persecution, small Christian communities continue to form. They support one another quietly. When someone is arrested, others help families. When someone loses work, they share food. These bonds become stronger than fear. This is why the movement is so difficult to stop. It is not built on buildings or leaders alone. It is built on relationships and shared sacrifice. The government continues to respond with force. Laws remain strict. Surveillance increases. Propaganda warns against Christianity. Converts are accused of betraying their country, but the more the state tries to control belief, the more obvious its weakness becomes. Fear can control behavior, but it cannot control the heart. Many experts believe this is one of the fastest growing Christian movements in the world, precisely because it exists under pressure. Without comfort, faith becomes real. Without safety, belief becomes personal. This does not mean the future is easy. Many will continue to suffer. Some will flee the country. Others will remain and endure. But one thing is clear. The movement is no longer small. It is no longer isolated. It has reached a scale that even strict control cannot fully hide. As this movement grows, the question many people ask is simple. What does this mean for Iran's future? The answer is not easy, but it is important. Iran is a nation built on enforced belief. When belief is chosen instead of forced, the foundation begins to shift. This does not mean Iran will suddenly change overnight. Revolutions of the heart move slower than revolutions of power, but they often last longer. Faith changes how people see themselves. And when enough people see themselves differently, society eventually follows. For the Iranian government, this movement is deeply unsettling. Control depends on fear and obedience. Christianity offers neither. It offers choice. It offers forgiveness instead of punishment. It offers hope without state approval. These ideas quietly weaken systems built on force. That is why the government responds so strongly. It is not only afraid of Christianity as a religion, it is afraid of what free belief represents. If people can choose faith freely, they may begin to question other forms of control as well. Many converts say Christianity gave them courage, not anger. They are not seeking violence. They are not planning rebellion. They simply refuse to live in fear. This quiet resistance is harder to fight than loud opposition. Inside Iran, underground Christian communities continue to grow. They are careful. They are patient. They do not seek attention. They focus on faith, support, and survival. This makes them strong. Outside Iran, the movement is becoming more visible. Iranian Christians who escape share their stories with the world. They speak about prison, fear, and faith. These stories reach back into Iran through media and personal networks. Each story encourages someone else to search. This creates a cycle the state cannot fully stop. Pressure increases faith. Faith increases courage. Courage spreads belief. Some experts compare this moment to early Christianity, when believers met secretly and faced persecution. History shows that faith often grows fastest under pressure. Iran appears to be living through such a moment. Not everyone who questions Islam becomes Christian. Some turn away from religion entirely, but many say Christianity offers something unique. It offers a relationship instead of rules, grace instead of fear, love instead of shame. This matters deeply in a society where religion has been used as a weapon. When belief becomes gentle again, it heals wounds people did not even know they had. For many Iranians, conversion is also an act of truth. They say they could no longer pretend to believe what they did not feel. Choosing Christianity was a way to live honestly for the first time. This honesty has a cost. Some lose families. Some lose careers. Some lose freedom. But many say they gain something greater: peace. Even those who do not convert are affected. When people see friends remain kind under pressure, forgiving under cruelty, strong under fear, it challenges assumptions. It forces reflection. This is how change begins, quietly, slowly, one life at a time. The Iranian state may continue arrests. It may continue raids. It may increase surveillance. But it cannot erase the experiences people have already lived. Faith cannot be unlearned once it is truly felt. This movement does not belong to leaders or organizations. It belongs to ordinary people, students, parents, workers, prisoners, people who chose hope when fear was easier. The future of Iran is still uncertain. But one thing is clear: the spiritual landscape has already changed. Millions have questioned. Hundreds of thousands have chosen, and that choice cannot be undone. History remembers moments like this, not for their noise, but for their meaning. Long after laws change and governments fall, the choices of ordinary people remain. Iran's story is still being written, and beneath the surface, a quiet chapter of faith, courage, and hope continues to grow. If you want to keep understanding the real stories behind faith, courage, and quiet change in places the world rarely sees clearly, stay connected, share your thoughts, and continue watching until the very end. Because stories like this are shaping the future in ways most people never notice. Something is happening inside Iran that few people are allowed to talk about. It is not announced on state television. It is not written in official reports. It is not spoken openly in public. Yet behind closed doors, in quiet homes and hidden rooms, a powerful change is taking place. Nearly 1 million Muslims are leaving Islam and choosing Christianity. This is not a rumor. It is not a small trend. It is one of the most shocking spiritual shifts in the modern history of Iran. Stay with this story until the very end, because what you're about to hear explains why so many people are risking everything for a faith that the state fears. Iran is known to the world as an Islamic republic. Religion is not just personal here. It is political. It shapes laws, culture, education, and daily life. For more than 4 decades, Islam has been enforced not only as a belief, but as a system of control. People are taught what to believe, how to dress, how to speak, and how to behave. Questioning religion is treated as questioning the state itself. In such a place, conversion is not just a private choice. It is seen as rebellion. Yet despite this danger, thousands of Iranians every year are choosing Christianity. They do not do it loudly. They do not do it in churches with open doors. They do it quietly, often in secret. Many convert alone, reading forbidden texts late at night. Others meet in small house gatherings, always afraid that someone might inform the authorities. For these people, faith is no longer inherited. It is chosen, and that choice comes at a high cost. To understand why this is happening, we must first understand the life many Iranians live today. Iran is a country rich in history and culture, but daily life has become heavy for many of its people. Poverty is widespread. Jobs are scarce. Prices rise faster than wages. Young people feel trapped. Many see no future, no freedom, and no voice. Addiction, depression, and hopelessness have become common problems. When people lose hope in leaders and systems, they begin searching for meaning elsewhere. For decades, the government promised that strict religious rule would bring justice, dignity, and moral strength. But many Iranians feel the opposite has happened. Corruption is visible. Power is concentrated. Ordinary people feel ignored. Religion, once meant to guide the soul, is now associated with punishment and fear. For many, Islam no longer feels like a path to peace. It feels like a tool of control. This is where Christianity enters the story. For many Iranians, their first contact with Christianity does not come from a church. It comes through a radio broadcast, a satellite channel, or an online message. Some encounter it through a friend. Others through dreams that leave them shaken and curious. Many describe seeing Jesus in a dream, not as a figure of fear, but of peace. These stories are shared quietly, because sharing them openly can lead to arrest. What draws people is not only curiosity, it is contrast. Christianity speaks of love, forgiveness, and grace. It speaks of a God who invites, not forces. A God who listens, not punishes. For people who have grown up in fear of religious authority, this message feels radical. It feels human. Many converts say the words of Jesus speak directly to their pain. They talk about feeling seen for the first time. They describe a sense of rest they never experienced before. In a society where religion is often linked to shame and guilt, the idea of forgiveness feels like freedom. The Iranian government sees this movement as a serious threat. Leaving Islam is considered a crime. Converting to Christianity is treated as an attack on national identity. House churches are raided. Meetings are broken up. People are arrested without warning. Some are held for months or years. Many are interrogated and pressured to return to Islam. Those identified as leaders face even harsher treatment. They are accused of acting against national security. Their phones are monitored. Their families are questioned. Even after release, they live under constant watch. One wrong step can lead to rearrest. Despite this, the movement continues to grow. Why? Because fear is no longer enough to stop people who have lost everything else. When a system fails to give hope, people look beyond it. Many Iranians say that even prison feels less frightening than a life without meaning. Another reason for this growth is the way Iran. It does not spread through buildings or institutions. It spreads through relationships. One person tells another. A family shares quietly. A friend notices a change and asks why. There are no loud sermons, no public events. Just personal stories. Many converts say Christianity gave them inner peace even while their outer life became harder. They talk about joy that does not depend on money or freedom. This is deeply powerful in a place where material life feels broken. Families react in different ways. Some reject converts completely. Others respond with confusion. But many quietly accept it when they see real change. They notice less anger, less fear, more patience. Even those who do not convert sometimes admit that something good has happened. This creates tension inside Iranian society. The state wants unity through control. But what is growing is unity through shared suffering and hope. The more pressure the government applies, the more visible the contrast becomes. People begin to question why a loving faith must be crushed if it is false. History shows that persecution often strengthens belief instead of destroying it. Iran is becoming another example. The underground church grows stronger precisely because it must survive without comfort or safety. Faith becomes real when it costs something. Many Iranians say their conversion is not only about religion, it is about reclaiming their humanity. Choosing a faith freely is an act of dignity in a system built on obedience. In that sense, conversion becomes both spiritual and personal. This movement has also spread beyond Iran's borders. Iranian Christians who flee the country carry their faith with them. They form communities abroad. They support those still inside Iran. They share stories that inspire others. The movement does not stop at the border. What makes this moment historic is its scale. Never before has Iran seen such a large number of Muslims turn to Christianity. This is not a small group. It is a quiet mass movement happening under extreme pressure. The government can arrest people. It can close meetings. It can censor media. But it cannot control dreams, thoughts, or the human search for meaning. Every attempt to crush the movement only highlights the desperation. People feel under the current system. As more people convert, the state faces a difficult reality. Faith cannot be forced. Belief cannot be jailed. And fear eventually loses its power when hope takes its place. To understand why this movement continues despite extreme danger, we must look closely at what happens after a person converts. Life does not become easier. In many cases, it becomes far more difficult. Yet this is where the story becomes even more powerful. Once someone in Iran chooses Christianity, fear becomes part of daily life. There is no official church to attend. There is no public place to worship. Faith moves into living rooms, basements, and whispered conversations. Small house gatherings replace churches. These meetings are carefully planned. Phones are turned off. Windows are covered. People arrive separately so neighbors do not notice patterns. Even with all these precautions, danger is always close. The government actively searches for these gatherings. Informants are common. Sometimes it is a neighbor. Sometimes a coworker. Sometimes even a distant relative. One report can lead to a raid. When security forces enter a home, there is no warning. Doors are broken. Phones are taken. Books are seized. Everyone is questioned. Photos are taken of every face. For some, this is the last moment of freedom for a long time. Those considered leaders face the worst treatment. They are accused of spreading foreign influence. They are told they are enemies of the state. Many are taken to detention centers where they are held without clear charges. Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months. Inside prison, pressure is constant. Interrogations last for hours. Sleep is taken away. Threats are made against families. Prisoners are told they will never see their children again unless they return to Islam. Some are beaten. Others are kept in isolation for long periods. The goal is not justice. The goal is breaking the spirit. Yet, many refuse to give up their faith. This is difficult to understand unless we listen to their reasons. Converts often say that Christianity gave them something prison could not take away. They describe a peace that stays even in fear. They talk about forgiveness replacing anger, hope replacing despair. For people who lived under strict control their entire lives, this inner freedom becomes priceless. Once they experience it, going back feels impossible. They say returning to Islam under pressure would feel like losing themselves again. After release, life does not return to normal. Former prisoners are watched closely. Their phones are monitored. Their movements are tracked. They may be banned from work or study. Friends distance themselves out of fear. Families are questioned. Many lose jobs simply because of suspicion. Others are denied housing. Some are forced to sign papers promising they will not meet other Christians. Even then, rearrest is always possible. This constant pressure is meant to send a message to others. The state wants people to see the cost of conversion and choose fear instead. But something unexpected happens. Instead of stopping the movement, it spreads it.